Okay. So it's in a weird, oh, because I bought those two. That's why. Okay. All right. All right. We're gonna go back to front here, I think. So I haven't actually gotten to look at the other one, so I'm curious. So this one is for scene here? Huh? I'll be there in a second. All three skins are really cute. All right. Yeah, I haven't really gotten to check the others. I just sort of like honed in on the child, you know? All right, this is scenes. Oh, okay. So I don't think I know much about scene, to be fair, but I really like these colors. You know what's really nice is that this is actually a very hard color scheme to work with. This like, orange color and lime green. Ironically, I'm actually designing a business card with fairly similar color scheme right now, which is kind of funny. She's a sloth? Really? She's a sloth. That's interesting. You wouldn't know because there's like, because she's got like humanoid ears and sloths don't really have tails or visible ears much, so that's interesting. Love seeing Carried Me, nice one. So let's see here. Oh my gosh, I love how even the robot has like little decorations on them. That's super cute. Traditional Higashini's outfit made from the highest quality fabric, colorfully yet minimalistic, comfortable and warm, an ideal choice for outdoor trips in autumn. Oh, very fitting, very fitting. She talks slowly in her voice lines. Aw, that's really cute actually. Her speech pattern matches her speed. She's so lazy, the robot does the talking instead of her. Wait a minute, no, I have met Scene, but in Cruce's records. I think that's the first time I've seen Scene was in Cruce's records. I thought that she had like a speech impediment or something. You can see the green as the moss that grows on sloths all the time. There you go. You got to see the Volpe pulls, head back into the game. Congrats on the pulls. Thank you, Carrie Ballard, I appreciate it. Like the sloths in Zootopia, incredible. I really like the color scheme though, because the red and green are pulling together really, really well. And also there's very good shape language because of the red sort of being like this bright, intense triangle, and then the bright, intense circle of the umbrella. It's creating really good contrast. She's the daughter of Flash from Zootopia. She's so mind-numbingly slow, the robots talk for her. Oh my gosh. That's incredible, honestly. That's insane. But no, I do really like this outfit. I think they did a really good job pairing these colors, because this is not an easy color scheme to work with. Reds and greens, it's very hard to not make it problematic in the sense of like not making it look too much like Christmas. You know? It's very, very hard to work with reds and greens and not making it feel like a Christmas outfit. So I think they did a very good job keeping it very fresh, keeping it very breezy, keeping it very lighthearted. Alright, let's see here. And then they do a good job using a purple. If they had done red here instead of purple, it would have vibrated way too much against the green because they're opposite colors, and it would not have looked good. It would have looked really bad. So going for a muted purple is actually very, very, very smart. Yeah, this is super cute. This is a really cute design for Scene. And again, I love how even the robot gets a little bit of patterning, gets a little bit of Higashini's patterns here. I think that's very sweet. Yeah, it's like, it would be fairly simple to draw, which is good. It's very light and breezy and fluttery. And the color choice is very, very nice. Also using the blacks and the whites to sort of like tone down, because you're working with complete polar opposite colors, right? You're working with a green and a red. So adding black and white to sort of be used to calm it down as a base, I think that's a very, very smart decision. Alright. I think that's a really nice one. I like that a lot. What do you guys think? Is that one that you're gonna go for, or? I think it's a very good use of color scheme. These are hard colors to work with. These are very, very hard colors to work with. I already got all three. MG, I can understand that. You've got like every outfit. She and the other operators in the fashion scheme remind me of the anime Unbreakable Machine Doll. I'm not sure if I know what that is. I'm not an artist, but this skirt lift leaps in the wind don't make the scene more light. Yeah, no, the skirt lift and the leaves kind of like going with that pattern, it definitely has like a lighter and airier feel for sure. Alright, let's see. And then we've got Mint, who I don't know much about Mint. Isn't Mint the one that had like the Rubik's Cube puzzle? Is in a different skin? Isn't that also Mint? This is a really I love this like festival type of attitude here. Custom made for Mint, integrating Victorian style into traditional Higashinese garb. Comfy yet unique, it is one of Mint's favorites on festive occasions. I can absolutely understand that. You know what? This is really, I feel like I would wear this, honestly. Like I could definitely see myself wearing this type of festival outfit. This is very, very nice. You can get her from the vignette that had Mudrock? Oh, really? Huh. German mind went lazy by default. Sloth in German translates to lazy animal. Oh my gosh. This is like, I love how there's like stark contrasts of blue around this entire scene, right? Like we've got the pun unintended with the previous operator. But we've got like the blue of the staff, right? And then the blue of the ribbon, the blue of the flower here. And then this is a very muted blue, so it doesn't contrast and clash too much, being such a large surface area. And then it's a night sky, which also has a lot of blue, but then pairs really well with the yellows and the reds. This is like, I feel like operator skins have some of the best color theory, honestly. Like, I don't think I've seen much of an operator skin with bad color theory, except, unfortunately, this isn't meant to be against Whites and Getsu or anything. I still feel like the Chunyu skin was unfortunate in that it was really hard to see Chunyu himself. But I still think that, for the most part, they do a really great job on the color schemes. But yeah, look at this. So we've got the blue flower here, we've got the blue ribbon here, and then we've got like a muted blue, and this is a much larger surface area of muted blue. It actually sort of reflects more of that nighttime midnight look and the roofs as well. This is just very, very sweet. It has a very warm tone. There's a lot of purples in the blues, and then if you need like a little bit of turquoise to balance things out, then you can. We have some patterning with the moon on here to sort of reflect the festival vibe itself. Salmon red with a whole gradient of violet and cyan, yeah. But it's like, it's also the amount, right? The majority of this is red and gold, and then you've got muted tones for your opposite color, your purples and blues. And then the polar opposite is just a little bit of the contrasting color here and there. A little bit of the cyan to match with the reds and blues. Not reds and oranges. And golds. Not enough to overpower it, but just enough to create a really nice amount of contrast, I feel. You mean they use complementary color scheme on the color wheel? Yeah. So the complement of orange is blue, and the complement of yellow is purple. But the nicest thing that they do is they don't just use like pure yellow and then pure purple. They use a very muted purple, a very muted gray purple, and it allows the yellow to have a stronger significance, to have a stronger impact. But because you're still using opposite colors, it creates a very pleasing effect to the eye. I think that makes sense, right? And then the moon has, like, again, very muted, but it still has that, like, warm atmosphere to it. This would be so hard to have a character with, like, patterning on the kimono that you have to paint every single time, but I think for skins, it works really well to have pattern kimonos. You don't have to worry about it so much. Also, the detail's really nice. Look at the little cat face sticker sticking out here in the side. This is fun. I would wear this, honestly. Like, this is a good length of a dress. I like the the kimono jacket. I'm a fan of the double sort of like overskirt with the obi. I think this is a very, very nice outfit. It's a beautiful outfit, honestly, yeah. Patterns also stand out if you think about the muted color scheme. Absolutely. It does a very good job balancing everything together. Yeah, I would totally wear this. This is very nice. I can imagine why this would be her favorite on festival time. Also the bias with this, like, with the staff having this completely, like, celestial vibe, this sort of sun and moon feeling on it. I'm very, this feels a lot like the charms on my deck box. So I have sort of a, natural bias towards appreciation of this design. Because I have, like, on my deck box, there's, like, a crystal in the center, and then it's surrounded by a 4-pointed star. It actually looks extremely similar to this, which is funny to me. Alright. And then, best for last here. The others are very, very beautiful, but best for last here, we have our child. And I love everything about this skin, honestly. The coup de grace, yeah. Absolutely. I love everything about the skin. I mean, first of all, like, from the moment I saw the fact that we get the two little foxes here, that seals the deal right then in itself, right? The two little foxes on your chibi itself, that already seals the deal. So that wasn't hard to begin with. Then we also have, like, you know, I love the hairstyle, I love the little charms in her hair. And then this composition of, like, just the painting itself is genuinely gorgeous. Even if this was a different operator, I would still be saying the same things. Because it has a very, very muted palette being in the winter. It's a very grayscale palette. There's, like, lots of snow, there's stonework, it has a lot of black and white. And then all of the color here is in Suzuran, right? And not just any color, but bright reds. Bright reds on the foxes, because, you know, that's still very standard for shrine work. Bright red, lucky color, bright reds, and then softened, because she's very petite, softened with pink. Still in the red family, but pink to make this very soft, cute feeling to it. Green is the opposite of red. So we have this green sash that is creating a lovely piece of contrast against our main color scheme. Don't mind if we see the detail of the shrine? Yeah, no, absolutely. I always go through the beginning of it and then we zoom in normally. The red makes a really, really great, strong contrast with all the snow and gray. Yeah, 100%. The fact that we have, like, the foxes, they could have chosen to have these foxes just be, like, shrine statue foxes, right? They could have just been shrine statue foxes, but then it's like, no, instead we actually get actual foxes who then also get to be in-game as well, and that's just, like, this is just an amazing skin for any operator regardless. Like, this is just a happy skin in general. Even if Suzuran is not your favorite operator, this is just such a beautiful skin. Yes, I have huge bias, but I do think that this would just, like, I got the skin for, Gitano, right? Because she had her crystal deer. I really, really wanted the skin for Gitano because of her crystal deer. This is the same situation. Any skin that gets you a little animal companion, I think, is, like, automatically A+. And then, alright, the actual shrine itself here. So, we've got our cute little foxes. And it's lovely that it's drawn very, very quickly, very, very swiftly, and it shows that you can be very effective. Even if you have, like, square brushes, even if you're very rough with it, even if you're just getting the general idea down, it's still extremely effective. This is actually a very concept art looking approach. Not perfectly rendering and detailing these is actually something I really admire and wish I could do myself. I have a horrible tendency to over-render and over-detail everything in the background and make it the same detail as the main character, and that's actually not the best thing. You don't necessarily want to do that. The fact that these foxes are just, like, very quickly drawn in, but they've got all their light and shadow, they've got their form, you can very easily identify it. It's a very good technique. It's a very concept arty technique. You can see in these individual brush strokes This person is not being super careful, making everything super realistic. This is, I can tell they're using a square brush, and it just creates this very fast concept art, get the story down feeling. And it's a really good idea, honestly. It's repeated here on the stone. The stone, this is a technique I really need to learn someday. It has a variegated color. This is a technique I'm actually actively trying to learn, is variegated color. So variegated color is when you're not using a pure color, you're not using, like, this isn't just gray. This is gray with a little bit of blue in it, with a little bit of pink in it, with a little bit of green in it, with a little bit of yellow in it. And it creates this, like, harmonious, almost, like, I don't want to say prismatic, but it is kind of doing that in an extremely subtle way. And variegated color is a technique that I really want to learn. That's, like, the next thing I really want to try learning is variegated color. It's repeated here as well with the trees, right? And again, you can tell that the artist is using a square brush. We have a little bit of lime, a little bit of purple, a little bit of red. Variegated color is a very good technique to learn. So many stripes of different hues of color. Yeah, exactly. And then the shrine itself. I can't quite see many details in. But I love how the staff is designed here for this skin. With this beautiful, like, wraparound fox design, and then the good luck strips here. Again, anything with red, really strong contrast, but also I know has a lot of, like, spiritual significance. I can't read Japanese, so I'm not entirely sure what this says, or Higashinese. I don't necessarily know what it says, but I think that this is a really great design for the staff. And then her actual outfit here, like I was saying before, we have a very good balance of the bright colors with the calmness of the rest of the environment with sort of black, white, and grayscale. Her stuff is so cool I didn't even notice it. Blinded by her light. Yeah, this is a really, really nice staff design, I think. Again, biased because the staff is literally in the shape of a fox, but I think it's really beautiful. This would be something really nice to make as, like, a cosplay prop, I feel. This would be a really great cosplay prop design. Complementary colors are the most opposite colors, the more contrasting and also look nice together. Complementary colors are the ones that are next to each other on the color wheel. I believe, if I'm understanding my terminology correctly. Sometimes I know what it is in my head and I get the names wrong. I get confused now. I get confused now sometimes when trying to just talk about it in general. I think so. I'm getting a little confused. If it's the complement of the other, I believe so. I get a little thrown off. Hang on, give me 1 sec really quickly. Alright. Because I get confused. Are we good? Alright. Yeah, it is the opposite. It is the opposite. They're paired directly across each other on the color wheel. So, yes. So, complementary colors are the ones that are directly opposite. The thing is, a lot of people cannot use them very well. Complementary colors are very hard to not... Like, you can make them look really good, but you have to have one overpower the other. If they're both at the same intensity, it'll end up looking really, really bad, and that's why a lot of drawings that you see in, like, Microsoft Paint from beginner artists aren't very good, because Microsoft Paint is just going to give you, like, the crayon box, right? It's just the brightest color of everything. If you want to use complementary colors well, you have to have one that is much more powerful, and the other should be used as an accent. So in this, I was saying earlier, like, the powerful color here is red, taking up this entire umbrella, and then there's a little bit on the sash, a little bit on the obi, a little bit in the charms, and then the complementary is green, and it doesn't have as much space on it as the red does, but it's just enough of an accent to create a really nice contrast to the red. The staff is going into the background with it overlapping with the Torii Gate and all. Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Catch VOD later? Wanting to continue Silk Song? Alright, Rindell, have a good rest of your day. A little thing that could have been made a little better with composition, maybe give a bit more space in the upper part and put a little fox on the Tory. Like yawning fox on top of the Tory. Yeah, that is true. I mean, you could have done that. The reason that they probably didn't is for eye guidance. So if you did put a fox up there, it could have been a nice detail. But the fact that both foxes are down here also keeps you looking more at Suzuran. It could have been done pretty well. I do agree that it would have been nice to, like, finish off the top of the Torii Gate. But I would imagine that because of how this is painted, it was likely intentional. It was likely intentional for eye guidance purposes. You know, complementary colors that are not directly opposite, as long as you combine them into the medium neutral color of white, gray, or black. If I recall my art class correctly, correct me if I'm right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, like, that kind of goes back to variegated colors, right? So this is like a peach color in a gray, or like a cyan color in a gray. And if you had, let's say, that gray cyan color with like a bright red, that could be used pretty well together because you have a muted version of its opposite color. So yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, right? You don't want to directly go and make every color as bright as the crayon box. You want one color to be more intense than the other, and the other one sits back. Again, if we look at this green, it's more of a muted green. It's like, I mean, it's still pretty vibrant because these are festival colors. But it's not nearly as vibrant as the red is. It kind of lets the red take center stage. And then the green itself holds back, both in size and in tone. Keep in mind context, this is supposed to be seen on a phone screen. That informs the limits on the image framing. That's true too, yeah. That is also true too. But yeah, I think it's intentional. Would it have been nice to see the whole thing? Yes, I do agree with that. But I think it was an intentional choice. Massive amounts of negative space also help sell the cold of the image. Yeah. So like, let's look back on it again. Yeah, like Concon was saying, it also has to fit on this whole screen. And you wouldn't want to, if you ended up doing the entire Torii Gate and then you had like a fox on top, we're getting like pretty high off screen. And then you're taking more information away from the actual operator that the skin is meant for. So I do think that a lot of these things are intentional choices. Keep in mind for these key images, they must fit on the phone screens. They're all similar size and tend to make the character similar size. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Is purple and green complementary, or is it purple and yellow? It's purple and yellow. Calling it complementary sounds confusing to me. It sounds like they'd look good together no matter what. The reason that I get confused with complementary is because I always confuse complementary and analogous. So analogous is like red and orange and yellow, like next to each other. If I'm getting my terms right. The thing is, like, I know what these are in my head and I could draw them out, but when I have to like use the actual terminology, I get very confused sometimes. But yeah, complementary is a term that does confuse me. Because when I think that it complements something, I'm like, oh, that means it's like probably next to it. It's like, no, it's opposite. Yeah. Maybe they would have had to make it a higher angle. This would have made you lose focus on Suzuran. Yeah, also Suzuran is probably like a lot shorter than a lot of the other operators. So you have to, like, she's already in front and the Torii Gate is already further back. So they're trying to show more of the Torii Gate by having it further back. But they can't really angle it any different because Suzuran is still a lot shorter. The simple answer as to why we don't have more of the Torii Gate might be a version out there in the Artist HD that does have it and it was trimmed down to fit. That I would 100% understand because it would be hard to paint this with it being cut off. I would imagine that most of these paintings are probably painted in full and then like chopped around later like a cookie cutter, like you're saying. Think of it as completes versus go well with. Yeah, it's tricky. It's kind of confusing. Suzuran's too tiny for big gate, so they bring it down to size. Anyway, I think that this is like, regardless if Suzuran is your favorite operator or not, I think this is a very, very beautifully done skin. So yes, this is 100% yes right now. No question about it. No question about it. Suzuran's outfit on a winter morning trip to the shrine. The loose-fitting sleeves protect against the wind and snow, while the pleated front adds an exotic touch. I think that's very sweet. Alright. Alright. And that is all 3. I loved it. I don't know about you guys, but I really love doing the outfit reviews. I love sort of going over how the artist might have thought. Skipped all of the other skins for this one. I don't blame you at all, honestly. Alright, so we've secured the Suzuran skin. We've secured the Suzuran skin.